Welcome back to another episode of Boxing Resume. This time around, we're going to be talking about Zab Judah's level of competition. Zab Judah's first real test came when he fought Mickey Ward. Now, this victory did age well because Mickey Ward is now a legend. So, this is definitely a good look, especially since Zab Judah wasn't even 20 years old. He was a teenager. Then he fights a tough test in Jan Bergman. He's not a world beater, but definitely was in the mix and a tough foe. Not to mention that Zab Judah picked up the vacant IBF title. His first defense came against, at the time, a future world champion, you could say, Junior Witter. This was definitely a very good victory. Tehran Millet was a tough foe, and he did get a knockdown against Zab. Zab ended up getting a knockout in the fourth. Reggie Green, another tough foe, and another knockout victory for Zab Judah. Zab Judah then fights another undefeated Al Investor. Zab Judah's first defeat came against the legend Costa Seuss. Now, at first, he was the favorite, but Costa Seuss had some serious power. Boom! Omar Gabriel Wise basically is a good fighter, but he just came off right before fighting Zab Judah. He had beat undefeated Hector Camacho Jr. So that's why he was there with Zab. Now, DeMarcus Corley, very good fighter, former world champion, a guy who's been there with Floyd Mayweather, Miguel Cotto, the knockout Kim Bailey's, just to mention a few. So this was a good look and a tough fight for Zab. Now, the first fight with Corey Spinks was a disappointing fight because Zab Judah was the favorite, ended up losing, but it did set up a great rivalry. Rafael Pineda was a former champion, very solid dude, but he kind of was a little over the edge on age. This was the rematch, Corey Spinks versus Zab Judah. Zab ended up pulling off the knockout and becoming undisputed welterweight champion. His first defense came against Cosme Rivera, former world champion. A little over the hill, but Zab Judah did what he was supposed to and got the knockout. Now, Carlos Manuel Baldemir pulled off a huge upset. I mean, nobody knew who this guy was. He was on a roll. I think he had close to 20 fights where he won. He had like a close to 20-fight win streak, but Zab Judah just couldn't figure it out. I think Baldemir was just a little too strong and just was a lot better than what people thought. After that, he got the biggest fight of his career against Floyd Mayweather Jr. This was a huge fight. Zab Judah did a hell of a job in the first couple of rounds, but then your pound for pound, best in Floyd Mayweather just was too much and was able to make the right adjustments. Then came another big fight against Miguel Cotto. Classic fight. Zab did have his moments, but Miguel Cotto just showed his greatness. He then loses another fight to Joshua Kaladi. Now, a lot of people consider this an upset. Not me. I felt like Joshua Kaladi was just too good. It's just he's not as popular as Zab Judah, but definitely a tough foe. Joshua Kaladi did give Miguel Cotto a hard fight and Manny Pacquiao. Zab bounced back with one of his biggest victories. At the time, Lucas Matthysse didn't really make a name for himself yet. This was like his first real test. It was a close fight. Zab almost got knocked out, but he pulled off the victory. Kaiser Mabuza was a little overmatched, but he pulled off a knockout victory over Kendall Holt and ended up getting the title shot. Zab Judah ended up winning the IBF Junior welterweight world title. It was a vacant belt, and once again, Zab Judah is a world champion. The first defense was against Amir Khan. Amir Khan definitely had a roller coaster career. He ended up getting a stoppage with this body shot right here from the inside. Zab was trying to cry like it was a low blow, but the ref wasn't buying. He lost. He bounced back against an undefeated Vernon Paris. Now, Vernon is not a world beater, but it was a good look. Vernon did have a good story because he was shot in the streets and ended up turning his life around and focused on boxing. But, Zab was just too much. The legend got the stoppage. Here comes another big fight against Danny Garcia. Classic fight. And Danny Garcia won convincingly. Then suffers a upset loss to Paulie Malignaggi. Paulie Malignaggi is a legend in my opinion, but Zab Judah, the consensus was with Zab Judah is that he had more power and he was going to be able to at least hurt Paulie, but Paulie won easy. He took a few years off, tried to make a comeback against easier opponents, but then he ran into this guy, Selden, who had a lot of power, was really tough, but, wasn't supposed to win the fight in reality. But Zab was in, his mid-40s, so you got to consider all things. He definitely was no longer in his prime. On his overall career, I have to give him a lot of credit. He did fight some of the best fighters in the world. When you look at the superstars, that he did some pay-per-view numbers as well with Floyd Mayweather and Miguel Cotto and stuff like that. He almost fought Shane Mosley. Yeah, Shane Mosley and him almost fought, but I think Zab got injured. In his overall career, though, I would say similar to Mike Tyson, he had a A-. I think the level of competition, considering all things. He did fight some, cherry picks, and he did have a few tune-up fights. But overall, he had a lot of big fights, and even though he lost most of his big fights, he did have some good wins and world championship victories and 2 divisions. So he's, I think, 5-time world champion in 2 weight classes. Pretty respectable career overall. What do you guys think? Let me know. Who should I rate next? What resume should I review in my next video? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Peace out, y'all.